you all are doing fabulous. I am Sridhar from Chettiyanganar. Today in this video I would like to discuss about modes of optical fibers and its structure. Have you ever thought about why the optical fiber is having a hair-like structure? It is very easy to make a optical fiber with large diameter. Nevertheless, we do not have such one. We are very much aware that the light is used as a carrier for data transfer in optical fibers. Using common sense, we can think that the more the light is carried through an optical fiber, the more will be the rate of data transfer through it. Even though the truth is that we use a very thin optical fiber. Can you say why it is so? From the very basic knowledge of wave theory of light, we know that the light is traveling as a transverse electromagnetic wave. That means, if the light is traveling in Z direction, the electric field will be in the X direction, and at the same time, the magnetic field will be in the Y direction. In the open space, like an unguided media, the light travels in the mode of transverse electric mode. But the light traveling in an open media cannot be used as a data carrier because the light will be spread easily in all directions. So the data will be lost easily. In order to secure the data, we have to use a closed media. So we started using optical fiber. As soon as the light is entered into an optical fiber, the transverse electromagnetic waves will be split into a number of modes which can be assumed as linearly polarized modes. The mode which is traveling through the center of the core is called fundamental mode. As the order of the mode increases, these modes will tend to move more towards the cladding. A particular mode is identified by its electric field distribution and by its polarization. We can understand that the higher order mode which moves towards the cladding will take a wider path while moving through the optical core. In that case, the higher order mode will take more time to reach the receiver end. So, the data which moves along with the different modes will get mixed up at the receiver end. This causes distortion. More often than not, we use a laser light to carry the data. We know the laser light carry only a single wavelength. The dispersion which is caused by the light which is having a single wavelength is called modal distortion. It is also observed that the spreading of pulse happens when the pulse moves along the fiber. The more the length the pulse moves, more will be the spread. If you try to increase the rate of data input, distance between the pulses will be reduced. So, if the pulse moves along the fiber, due to the pulse spreading and the difference in time taken by the different modes, the pulse will be overlapped at the receiver end. In that case, we will miss some zeros. Instead of zeros, we get ones because of this overlapping. In order to avoid these, we have to reduce the diameter of the core. It is scientifically proven that if the diameter of the core is reduced, the number of modes getting into the core will be reduced. As we studied, as the number of modes increases, the data which goes along with these modes will get more spread because all those modes takes wider paths. So the pulse spreading also will be more. So in order to reduce the pulse spreading and overlapping of the data, we have to reduce the number of modes. So we try to reduce the diameter of the core as far as possible. While observing the relation between the diameter and the number of modes, we can understand that for a small change in diameter also, the number of modes will get multiplied. If the fiber contains only one mode, we can call it as single mode fiber. If more than one mode present in the optical core, we can call it as a multi-mode fiber. Here we can assume that the diameter of the single mode fiber will be the least one because it contains only one mode. Now you can understand that the diameter of the single mode fiber is only 10 micrometer, the least one. Whereas the diameter of the multi-mode fiber is way above the 10 micrometer. You know that the diameter of the multi-mode fiber is 50 micrometer and above. You also have 62.5 micrometer diameter with the multi-mode fibers. In the case of single mode fiber, only one mode travels through the optical core. So, there will be minimum distortion due to pulse spreading. Whereas in the case of multi-mode fiber, there are number of modes traveling through the core and hence the pulse spreading also will be more. Moreover, the pulse spreading increases with the length of the fiber. So in that case, with the multi-mode fiber, we have to limit the length of the fiber that we can use for data transfer. So the multi-mode fiber is limited to 50 meters length. Whereas in the case of single mode fiber, we can make a single mode fiber of single length up to 40 kilometers. At this point, we understand that the multi-mode fiber is cheaper than the single mode fiber, but its length is limited to 50 meters. It is also noted that the bandwidth associated with the multi-mode fiber will be less when compared to the single mode fiber because the pulse spreading is more as the bandwidth increases, as the input data rate increases. An optical fiber has got a lot of mystery in it. Here comes another question. Why the single mode fiber uses a large wavelength like 1310 nanometer, whereas in the case of multi-mode fiber, we are using 850 nanometer, a smaller one? That is the question. If we conducting an experiment by increasing the wavelength of the light from 850 nanometer to 1310 nanometer, we can see that the number of modes present in the optical fiber will be getting decreased. Once the wavelength is reached 1310 nanometer, you can see that optical fiber core contains only one mode, which is called fundamental mode, the LP01 mode in the optical fiber core. Definitely that is a single mode fiber. So in order to decrease the number of modes, we have to increase the wavelength. Here, you might have noticed that we were discussing some particular wavelength of the lights. As we said earlier, 850 nanometer, 1300 nanometer, 1310 nanometer and 1550 nanometer. We have been discussing these four wavelengths. Why it is so? The only one reason is that when we use this wavelength, the attenuation to the data, the attenuation to the light will be very less. In earlier days, we were using light emitting diodes with multi-mode fibers. Here, we had been using 850 nanometer LED and 1300 nanometer LED. But with the LED light, there is one problem. The LED lights are composed of multiple wavelengths. In the case of LEDs, there will be multiple wavelengths in and around 850 nanometer or 1300 nanometer. So there will be chromatic dispersion also in the case of LEDs. definitely the model dispersion will also be there. Nowadays, we are using VCSEL, vertical cavity stimulated emission laser. Here we have VCSEL with 850 nanometer. Using this laser light, we can get a higher bandwidth. Here we can have 10 GB per second bandwidth with VCSEL. Here the length of the multimode fiber is more than that of a multimode fiber which is using an LED. Here comes another question. Why the refractive index values of core and cladding are so close to each other? That is an interesting question. We know that as per the ray theory of light, a light traveling from a media of larger refractive index is getting reflected at a media which is having a lower refractive index. In order to get total internal reflection, we have to have differences in the refractive index between the core and cladding. Here, the refractive index of the core is more, we call it as N1, and the refractive index of the cladding is less compared to the core, we call it as N2. We know the difference between these two refractive index values is the numerical aperture. Numerical aperture decides how much amount light will getting into the optical core. So, if the numerical aperture is more, the amount of light that getting into optical core will be more. But as the amount of light getting into the core is more, along with it, the number of modes also will get increased. In that case, as we saw earlier, we will get a lot of distortion. So, in order to avoid this distortion, we have to keep the numerical aperture to a minimum value. Its value lies between 0.1 and 0.3. In the case of single mode fiber, we can assume that the numerical aperture will be minimum. It will be the least one. So, in order to couple a laser light with a narrow beam, we have to use advanced technologies to produce such a laser light. This makes the cost of the laser light more. In the case of multimode fiber, the diameter is also big and the numerical aperture can be increased up to 0.3 instead of 0.1 that is used for single mode fiber. So the coupling of the laser light with the multimode fiber is easy. Here in the case of single mode fiber, the diameter is also very small. So the coupling of the laser light with the single mode fiber is quite difficult. So the cost as assumed will be very big. In the view of the affordability, we have to use the single mode fiber in long distances, because as the distance getting more, the number of customers that can be connected to the single mode fiber will be more. So the cost will be divided between these customers. So if we use a single mode fiber in a LAN connection, the length will be very less and the cost of the single mode fiber is high, and also the coupling factor is also high. The coupling devices is also costlier. It cannot be afforded into a short distance transmission like LAN. Here comes the application of multimode fiber. Since the multimode fiber is cheap when compared to single mode fiber, and the coupling between the multimode fiber and the associated devices like computer or modem or something like that, in the case of a LAN connection, it is easy to connect a multimode fiber with these devices. Definitely the data carrying capacity of a multimode fiber is very much bigger than a coaxial cable. So we can use multimode fiber for big data transfer in the local area network. Whereas single mode fiber is used in the outdoor work, there also the data transferred is a very big one. The bandwidth is big one in the single mode fiber. From all these observations, we can say that the number of modes present in a optical fiber core is proportional to the square of the diameter of the core and the square of the numerical aperture of the core. At the same time, the number of modes is inversely proportional to the square of the wavelength that is used in the fiber. We can see the equation for finding out the number of modes here. We know that the speed of light depends upon the refractive index of the media through which it travels, because the refractive index is the ratio of speed of light in vacuum to the speed of light in the media. In the case of a step index fiber, where the refractive index of the core is uniform all along the fiber. In the case of a step index multimode fiber, the different modes travel in different paths. So, the time taken to reach the receiver end will be different to the different modes. Since the refractive index being uniform, the speed of the modes will be same all along the fiber. The difference in time comes with the different length of the paths. If the length of the different path for different modes were same, they would reach at the receiving end at the same time. But it is not like that, as we saw. So what we do to make all the modes reaching at the receiver end at the same moment? That is the question. In order to solve this problem, we developed graded index fiber. What is the speciality of the graded index fiber? In the case of graded index fiber, the refractive index is not uniform all along the core. Instead of that, the refractive index is maximum at the center of the core and it is gradually reduced towards the cladding. That means towards the periphery of the core. At the interface of the core and cladding, the refractive index of the core will be equal to the refractive index of the cladding. In that case, the modes with higher order will travel with higher velocities and hence all the modes will reach at the same time at the receiver end. Now the problem is solved. The distortion will not be there anymore. With the use of graded index fiber and the VCSEL, we can use multimode fiber for a larger length. Fundamental mode is split into two orthogonal degenerated modes. These two modes will not reach at the same time at the receiver end. So in the case of single mode also, there is a small dispersion. So the wavelength is limited to 1310 nanometer. The dispersion shifted optical fiber is produced in the case of single mode fiber in order to avoid this limitation. In this case, we can use a wavelength of 1550 nanometer, a very big one, rather than 1310 nanometer. This is an advancement in the case of single mode fiber. There are different types of commercially available single mode fibers and multi-mode fibers. In the case of single mode fiber, there are OS1 and OS2 type fibers. O means optical, S means single mode. These modes are characterized by their bandwidth and the length of the fiber. The light used for particular fiber will also may be different in different cases. In the case of multimode fiber, we are using OM1, OM2, OM3, OM4 and OM5 optical multimode fibers. Here also the bandwidth and the length of the fibers are different in the case of different fibers. In some cases, the diameter also will be different, 50 micrometer or 62.5 micrometer. These are the fibers available commercially. Now let's have a look at the structure of the optical fiber cable. The innermost part is the core. It carries the light to the receiver end. The diameter of the core of the single mode fiber is below 10 micrometer, whereas the diameter of the multimode fiber core is 50 micrometer or 62.5 micrometer. The core is made up of glass. In some cases, plastic fiber is also provided. The cladding provides protection to the core. It also helps to get the total internal reflection of the light passing through the core. The diameter of the cladding for both multimode and single mode fiber is 125 micrometer. Because of the electrical field distribution, some part of the light is also carried through the cladding. The cladding is also made up of glass. To protect the core and cladding, we provide a PVC coating over the cladding. This is called buffer. There are two types of buffers. They are loose buffer and tight buffer. In loose buffer, surrounding the optical fibers, there will be a gel. Gel gives protection from moisture. In the case of loose buffer, the fibers are free to move inside the gel. In the case of tight buffer, the optical fibers are tightly stick to the buffer. There is no freedom for movement. The loose buffer cable is used for outdoor purpose, whereas the tight buffer is used for indoor purpose. To provide tensile strength to the optical fiber cable, we provide strength members. Strength member is made up of thread-like structure called aramid yarn. The aramid yarn is also called Kevlar. It is a fire-resistant material. It provides extra strength to the optical fiber cable. Sometimes the strength member is made up of glass rods. Strength member protects the fiber from stretching and excessive bending. In order to provide extra protection, we give a jacket over the strength members. Jacket may contain more than one layer. In some cases, corrugated steel armoring is also provided. It gives extra protection from rodent and crushing from the external environment. The outer layer of the jacket is called sheath. Apart from these, some aerial cables will also provided with pilot wires. Dear students, the optical fiber technology is used for big data transfer. It is laid all over the world. So the technology is there in all the countries of the world. So there are a lot of job chances for you. So study well, study all the technologies. Please be up to date in this field. This field will last for a long time, at least for 50 years. So grab a job as fast as possible. Wishing you all the success in your career. This is Sridhar signing off. Thank you.